Hello there, you're very welcome along. It is Wednesdays off the ball. We are busy this evening. Peter Lowry in studio looking ahead to the 148th Open Championship, which gets underway tomorrow at Royal Portrush. We have Brandi Chastain with us. She was the goal scorer and subject of that iconic photograph back in 1999 when Team USA won the World Cup, as they tend to do. We'll also bring you some of our panel, 20 by 20 panel from last week. We are here with Richie McCormack as ever. Hello.
Hello, Joe.
Ronan Mullen's here. Hello, Ronan.
Joe, how are you?
Very well. So Brandi Chastain scored this penalty in 1999, ripped off her top picture on Sports Illustrated, Newsweek, front pages around the world, all that kind of thing. We don't have the commentary. After all that, gave it the big sell.
I think people remember it though, Joe. It's the one iconic kind of scene from 99. She drops to her knees, flinging the jersey around her head.
Sports bra on. Quite shocking at the time. My goodness, what is this? Oh, we haven't now a good on you. Here we go. Here's Brandi Chastain.
Roll it there, Roisin.
Even up again, but it also means that the USA could win the World Cup on this next kick. Chastain will take it. She missed a penalty kick against China in the Algarve Cup, and they lost that game. Time the United States has won the Women's World Cup, and Brandi Chastain gets the game winner to PK.
She was so cool and composed, and she comes up and approaches it with her left foot and sends it into the side netting, and no keeper in the world is going to save that kick.
The party begins in Pasadena.
That's Brandi Chastain.
That was blast off for the game in America, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, they had 18 million viewers watching that final against China. 700,000 people attended the games. It was coast to coast, all the big football stadiums. That was blast off, is right. The first World Cup was only in 91, Women's World Cup. The mad thing about that penalty, the winning penalty in that World Cup, is that Brandi Chastain was one of the regular penalty takers for Team USA. A right-footed player, played a bit at left back, kind of a Dennis Irwin type, I suppose, towards the end of her career. Started off as a striker, quite talented, as you can imagine. And she used to hit, all her penalties right-footed. She played against China. This was China in the final a few months beforehand in the Algarve Cup. The goalkeeper, Gao, gave her the old Bruce Grobbler, put her off. She cracked one off the crossbar. And then, as they were going to penalties, deciding who's taking one, who's not taking one, Grand Brandi, you'll take one. Her coach came up to her and said, "You should hit this one left-footed," and then ran off.
Solid piece of advice.
She has never taken a left-footed competitive penalty in her life. She's done a few, practiced right-foot, left-foot, messing around. And in front of 40 million TV audience worldwide, 90,000 at the Rose Bowl.
And she's a California girl as well, so this is dreaming of this moment in that arena probably. And
strolls up and says, "Here we go then. Now's the time to try a competitive left-foot penalty." It's unbelievable. And does, and it's a good penalty, and then top off, flash bulbs, boom. Instant kind of fame.
you just have to trust the technique in that situation. Did you look at the goalkeeper, Joe, when you were taking penalties?
Give him the eyes.
I always trusted the technique.
Is that right? Yeah, stuck with the process.
Yeah.
So that's on the way around just after 8 o'clock, Brandi Chastain. We were meant to speak to her during the World Cup, but it fell through. Ronan set that piece up that night.
I did.
And we had
Also today.
Did she just randomly text you back like 2 weeks later, just gone free now?
No, I just followed up with the Megan Rapinoe was still in the headlines. And
yeah. Dropped out last minute. We had to fill terribly for the last half hour of a show. Wouldn't have been the best half hour of content.
People won't spot what that half an hour was, Joe.
Yeah. Spot the day. Would have been any of them, to be honest. So that's on the way. Peter Lowry, 7:30, talking all things open. He was up there yesterday, so there's lots of interesting things to say about the course setup and who it's going to suit. Meanwhile, Rich, there's live football on now.
There is, and there's 8 minutes to go in the Latvian capital. Dundalk's Champions League qualifier second leg is nearly done in terms of the normal time. Still scoreless. Riga 0, Dundalk 0 in the second leg. Scoreless 2 from the first leg. So any kind of goal you feel at this stage will do it for Dundalk. A score draw will do it for them on the night, and they will progress to the second qualifying round. But it's finding that breakthrough has proved difficult. Pat Hooven has had the ball in the net, but that goal ruled off for offside.
0 in the first leg. Dundalk playing well this evening on top. How's it going?
The better of the two sides. Oh, yeah. There's been a lack of incisiveness from them, to be fair. They're missing Michael Duffy tonight, who has stayed at home. His partner has given birth, so he would have been a very late call into the side tonight. He hasn't travelled, he hasn't played, and it seems as if they've missed him. Robbie Benson's kind of filled in that role, but hasn't really been able to offer the same incisiveness in the final third. Pat Hooban's been looking for that key ball through to him and has been kind of searching out in the channels to try and get involved. Dundalk had the guts of the possession, and Riga have kind of slipped further and further back as the game has progressed, and it just seems a matter of time before Dundalk managed to pierce the resolve.
Well, way to jinx it.
I know, yeah. It's going to be 3-0 to Riga in extra time, wait and see.
So extra time, then
penalties.
A good representation from the town over in Riga, judging by my social media. So,
Has
Maxi travelled?
Are you of the town?
I am of the town, Joe.
You're of the town?
Yeah, my sister's over there.
Is she, yeah?
She is, yeah.
So how of the town are you? Like, are you in the town?
I'm just in the suburbs, but I'm very much a Dundalk fan. I would have gone to all the games. Like, I wouldn't be in the town, but I wouldn't be in the country. It was a big thing at school. Are you culture, are you townie?
Okay.
I was sort of neither, so I was in the middle.
No man's land.
Kind of.
So Sport Ireland have had their say on the FAI?
Oh boy, have they. Sport Ireland says it's been 2 steps forward but 1 step back for the FAI this week. The organisation told the Oireachtas subcommittee today that the entire board of football's governing body should step down. It also agrees with the Minister for Sport, Shane Ross, that Donald Conway should not get another term as president, as he is the only one nominated for the role ahead of the FAI's AGM in Trim later this month. John Tracy, the CEO of Sport Ireland, was present today, and he says a new look board is needed to help sort out sports governance issues.
We want to make sure we have the right people, because we are about trying to restore public trust in this organisation. This organisation needs to go forward. There's evidence that there's some change, but sometimes you take 2 steps forward and you take 1 step back. And I think this is what we've kind of seen this week.
Yeah. A bit miffed was the general tone today.
Yeah, also critical of Noel Mooney's appointment as general manager. They said that the FAI had the chance to make a clean break from its past and has opted not to do that. So they don't really want to see Mooney continue on in any kind of role of management there. They definitely don't want to see Donald Conway continue on. The FAI last night had that statement in response to Minister Ross, which said that they are following protocols set forth in the governance review and that they're not doing anything wrong, that they'll take Minister Ross's advice under advisement, etc, etc, etc. But we're not going to see any change later this month. It's just not going to happen. And people should be angry.
I'm amazed that they have been able to almost begin to pull this off, or have attempted
to. It's been such a slow drip feed.
Can't believe it.
It's been such a slow drip feed of information, and they held things off to such a degree, and Delaney was ushered to one side in such a manner that it wasn't the dramatic coup that it probably should have been. It's been this really soft revolution that absolutely favours the status quo that was there.
Yeah.
It seems that way.
The optics of this are bad as well, and as Richie said there, they probably thought this would pass without remark almost, the way it was done, and yeah, it's been quite the opposite.
Let's rattle through some stories then, because we're ending the news round early. We're going to try and squeeze in Open Preview and Brandy Chastain as well. So Kieran Trippier,
he's off to Spain. He becomes the 20th Englishman to play in La Liga. He has signed a 3-year contract at 20th.
I wouldn't have thought they had 20.
I bet you can't name the top 3, because AS, they put out the list of the 20 English players to play in La Liga.
Sorry, we're meant to be getting through stories here.
I know,
Sorry.
but this is too good.
Yeah, this is good.
The number one.
Sorry, when you say the top, what do you mean?
Right, there's only been 20 English players. Trippier will be the 20th English player to play in La Liga.
Yes.
Right? In terms of appearances, who are the top 3? Because you'll never get number 4.
Beckham.
David Beckham's up
number
there,
1.
No? David Beckham, number one.
Number 1.
Good start.
Good on him.
Good,
David
well
Beckham,
done.
number
Well
1.
done. Start at the top, lads. Do you want to leave you to it and I'll crack
Steve
through?
McManaman.
Number 2.
Yes.
Look at you, it's like you've seen this list.
I haven't. I didn't know. I've been busy all day.
No, actually, McManaman's number 3. I beg your pudding.
Who did number 2 play for?
Barcelona.
It's not Gary Lineker.
It is.
Well
good
played,
job.
Ronan.
Good.
Nicely in.
And number 4,
yeah,
who played for both Las Palmas and Sevilla, Vinny Samways. It's quite like the list is an amazing roller coaster.
Any other big names that I'm not thinking of?
Laurie Cunningham, ex of West Brom, went to Real Madrid, of course.
Chris Coleman.
Yeah. Jonathan Woodgate, Michael Owen, I think, is the 5th. Mark Draper, ex of Aston Villa, pitched up at Rayo Vallecano for a while. Yeah. Who knew?
So
but it's an amazing list.
24 million euro?
24 million euro is off to Atletico. He signed a 3-year contract at the Wanda Metropolitano. Meanwhile, Derry are the latest side in need of a new intercounty football manager. Damien McCormack stepped down after 2 years of a 3-year term today, stating personal circumstances as his reason. The county board say they reluctantly accepted McCormack's resignation. While Rory McIlroy is feeling relaxed heading into this week's Open Championship at Portrush, the world number 3 says he's played the course 3 times over the past year. McIlroy set a course record 61 there when he was just 16, and he feels very little has changed since.
For me, sometimes, you play a golf course so much, you start looking at the places where you don't want to hit it. So, I'd rather just, I've played well here before. I know what I'm doing around here. I mean, I sort of was worried. I got here last Saturday thinking, the course is going to change. The setup for an Open might be different. And I got here and it's like, still the same place. I mean, I said this last week. I had dinner booked with I hadn't seen my mum in 3 months. I had dinner booked with my parents on Saturday night at 8 o'clock thinking, I'm going to have to spend some time around the greens and just prepare. And I got on the road back home and rang them and said, can we move dinner up because I finished early. It's just sort of, there's no difference. It's the same golf course.
It's good.
G-Mac, meanwhile, he hasn't had the best preparation for this week, missing the cut at both the Irish and Scottish Opens, but he feels his local knowledge will stand him in good stead this week.
Holes that played unbelievably short all of a sudden play unbelievably long, strategy changes, and you got to be ready for that. So I feel like my experiences here should help as this golf course begins to change the next few days. I think we're going to see a stronger wind, a little bit more out of the west tomorrow, and we'll test the guys. Like I say, they haven't really had a chance to see this place with his teeth sharp.
It's true. He's seen it in all kinds of wind, which must be an advantage. Rory McIlroy's caddies played there a lot as well, as is Brooks Koepka's. We'll talk to Peter Lowry just after the ad break in a few moments' time. Steve Bruce, meanwhile.
Yeah, he is seemingly the new Newcastle manager, but Sheffield Wednesday say outstanding legal issues remain regarding his departure from the club. The Championship side insist they're disappointed to learn that he was confirmed as Newcastle's new head coach this morning. Bruce resigned from his previous job with the South Yorkshire team, along with his coaches Steve Agnew and Stephen Clements. Wednesday say they're seeking legal advice, and Brazilian striker Joelinton looks like being Bruce's first signing at Newcastle. They do need forwards. His club Hoffenheim have confirmed that talks are underway over a potential move.
Last two stories.
West Ham, they've broken their transfer record to sign the French striker Sebastian Heller. They've paid Eintracht Frankfurt €45 million for his services. Heller scored 33 goals in 77 Bundesliga appearances. And Dan Martin remains ninth on general classification after today's 11th stage of the Tour de France. The Irish rider finished in the pack as Caleb Ewan claimed the sprint win into Toulouse. Martin remains 2 minutes 9 seconds down on the yellow jersey wearer Julian Alaphilippe, with the peloton heading for the Pyrenees tomorrow. And it's a place that Dan Martin has usually profited over the years.
Lovely stuff. Thanks for that, Richie. Now, just before we get into the golf, if you know anyone who'd love to be a mascot for a Republic of Ireland football match, then stay tuned in association with 3. This week we have a really great prize. Ireland's Euro qualifier with Montenegro in September. It's an opportunity to lead out the girls in green as the official mascot and also pick up another 3 tickets to the game as well. Tuesday, September 3rd in Tallaght Stadium. To win, tell us which Irish international signed for Serie A side Florentia last year. Text the word 3, followed by your name and answer to 53106. The competition open to boys and girls between the ages of 7 and 11, and obviously you can, mums, dads, uncles, aunts, enter on their behalf. All with thanks to 3, proud sponsor of the Irish women's national football team, and 20 by 20. Short break. Still 0-0 over in Dundalk's match against Riga. We're taking a short break. Peter Lowry is going to talk to us about the 148th Open Championship next.
Off the Ball on Newstalk.
Brought to you by Avantcard, powered by MasterCard. Avantcard Reward Plus Credit Card, Ireland's only credit card that gives you interest refunds on purchases. Info correct June 2019. Source ccpc.ie. Avantcard DAC is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Introducing Go Loud, the new app that brings together your favourite radio stations, podcasts and music. Browse the best podcasts from comedy to crime and films to food. Enjoy hours of music to suit every mood. The home of great radio, entertainment, sport and news. It's easy to download, it's free to use. One app, all your sounds, Go Loud right now. Download the Go Loud app or listen online at goloudnow.com. Go Loud, podcasts, radio and music to your ears.
Dishwashers, washing machines, tumble dryers. If it's got a plug and it goes in your kitchen or utility, then the chances are Appliances Delivered can deliver it nationwide. But it's not all about the fridge freezers, you know. Oh no, we also do the sexy stuff as well in our new technology section. Laptops and tablets, smartphones and smartwatches,